And now we have reached to our panel discussion as we promised you earlier today. After we learned about a lot of products, the trends that we have the coming 2023, and now it's about time we learn from our panel of experts about Southeast Asia and Thailand, their direction towards the net zero. The topics that the panelists is going to discuss today, it's about the development of utility, C&I, self-consumption of solar PV in Southeast Asia and Thailand. Today, we are very honored to welcome all of our panelists, including our moderator. So today, please join me in welcoming our moderator for today, Brad, Managing Director of INPOS. Welcome. Welcome, please. Come up on stage. It's show time. Welcome, welcome. Also joining us today with our panelists, he is the Head of Asset Management and RE Project Manager, Investment Department at Prime Road Power. Welcome, Kun Raksa Herabat. Welcome. Joining us today with the country head of Thailand from TotalEnergie Distributed Generation Asia at TotalEnergies, Kun Khomson Khenyotha. Welcome. Joining us. Very honored to have you here, sir. And of course, last but not the least, our Chief Commercial and Partnership Officers at GreenYellow Thailand, Stefan Dufrenne. Welcome. All right, Brad. So I believe that all of our audience has been waiting for this session. So over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. And good morning. Then I see a lot of happy face after a very sleepy time of product introduction. So let's wake up and talk real business here. Okay. So thank you for your time. Then we have here Stephen. I believe Stephen is very experienced in Thailand as GreenYellow have a lot of projects in Thailand and in many years. So you see the company name is GreenYellow. So let's call him color solar, right? A lot of color, green and yellow. Okay, Stefan. Then we have Rasan. Then we have Khomson also. Okay. I am only one guy who not do the business in Thailand yet. So all of the three of you is very experienced and very deep knowledge in Thailand. So let's start. Okay. So as my experience in Vietnam, we have the renewable energy market is very new compared to Thailand. Then Thailand have a very long year of developing renewable energy already. It is like a leading country in Southeast Asia. So let's start with Stefan first, as the very expert in rooftop solar. So what is your point of view? What is for the model of the investment for rooftop solar for C&I in Thailand? Let's say the CAPEX model or OPEX model. What is the best solution for Thailand from your point of view?
Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Stefan Dufrenne. I'm the head of business development for GreenYellow Thailand. So with GreenYellow quickly, so we are a long-term operator and investors specialized in energy transition, helping our customers to consume either a greener energy or less energy with two main offerings, solar rooftop and energy efficiency programs. That being said, so let's zoom in today on the solar. So you have to know that in Thailand, except for special program, we may come to that later on, you cannot inject the green energy, the solar energy into the grid. So all the project, whether it's a rooftop or ground mount or a carport or floating, because there's a lot of ponds in Thailand, it's a self-injection, self-consumption. So there is no solar injected into the grid. And for the rooftop solar, there is two models, that's the CAPEX model and the OPEX model. So what does it mean? So the CAPEX model is that the owner of the PV plant will invest by himself. He has the cash. He will put the cash on the table at the get-go, select an EPC, engineering, procurement, construction company, a solar company, will build the PV plant for him, take care of the licensing, permitting, and everything. But basically, the CAPEX model, the end users will invest by himself, put his money on the table. The EPC will build the PV plant, and after that, guarantee maybe the performance for 2 to 3 years. And after that, the owner of the PV plant can enjoy 100% of the savings from the get-go, but he has nobody to take care of the PV plant. He's in charge of the maintenance. The performance is not guaranteed, maybe just for 2 to 3 years. And you have to know that a PV plant is likely to live 20 years and much more. So that's for the CapEx model. And on the other side of the table, you have the OpEx model, which is sometimes called BOOT model, B-O-O-T, build, own, operate, and transfers. So GreenYellow operates under the BOOT model, the BOOT model. And you may have heard about PPA, Power Purchase Agreement. So this is a different approach where the investor and operator will take care of everything. So he will take care of the design, the permitting, the engineering, the construction, using his own equity. And the customer has nothing to spend from the get-go, so he can focus, what we say is time as money, on his core business. And GreenYellow, for instance, or the operator of the PV plant, will guarantee the performance for the duration of the PPA, Power Purchase Agreement, for 10, 15, 20 years. We'll take care of the operation and maintenance, and at the end of the day, of the contract, let's say after 20 years, the ownership of the PV plant will be transferred to the end user for a symbolic tieback. What is a remuneration model for a company like GreenYellow under this OpEx model? Because we invest with our own equity. So basically, we will sell the green electricity, the solar electricity, at a discounted price, 20, 30, 40, 50%, depending on the configuration of the roof, whether it's complicated project, not so complicated. We sell the green electricity at a discounted price compared to the usual tariff from the grid. So that's major differences between CapEx model, self-investment, and OpEx model, or PPA, where the long-term operator will put his own equity, invest on the behalf, and sell for 15 to 20 years discounted green electricity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. It's the very detailed explanation. So I believe if there are some factory here want to save some money, then CapEx is one of the very good option. Then I think this same question can be addressed to Khomson, right? Because TotalEnergies, I believe you are working quite actively in Vietnam also for similar model with GreenYellow and Thailand. So feel free to have the comment.
Okay, thank you for introductions. Yeah, my name is Khomson. I am represent the TotalEnergies in Thailand as a country head for the distributed generations. Okay, TotalEnergies, as you know, we are the oil and gas company. We are the top 5 oil and gas company. By the way, because of the companies, we need to meet the net zero within the 2050. So that's why we have the team to build the renewable energies, also as well as the energy storage and another product which is to reduce the carbon dioxide. So my teams actually in Southeast Asia, we have represent in every countries, including Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia. Yep. Let's say we offer right now the distributed generations for the C&I customer. So by the way, in Total, we also invest in the utility scales like the solar farm, wind farms, onshore, offshore, as well as battery storage and the carbon capture as well. So talking about focusing on this stage, I think what I would like to mention is that to meet the carbon zero, I think in every country have a different challenge. By the way, talking about distributed generations in every country, as we represent in most of the countries in Southeast Asia, in each country have a different challenge, I can say. And let's say the model here in Thailand may not be used in Indonesia or in Philippines, and as well as the limitations and challenges of each country is different. Just for example, in Vietnam, I think there is some challenge on those grid stabilities. So somehow maybe it's a lot of curtailment, and yeah, in each countries somehow, yeah, that there's a different challenge. But the good thing is that the customer, I mean the C&I customer, everybody they willing to reduce the CO2, and what we offer right now, we offer the electricity at a lower price than the grid in every country. And okay, the model can be like the PPAs and also the leasing agreement. And okay, for those the PPA, we also can offer like the fixed price for long term, like the 25 years, or maybe the discount based on the grid price. With this, I think that is something everybody know. But okay, let's go later in the details on this challenge in this country. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Then next one is Rasan. I believe you also have some C&I market in Thailand for rooftop solar. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay, so feel free to have comment.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Rasa Herabat from Prime Road Power. It's a privilege to be here today. So we are the Thai investor to focusing on the invest in renewable energy in the Southeast Asia and APEC region. We have our operation fleet in Thailand, which is our base, in Taiwan, and in Japan, as well in Cambodia, which is going to be COD soon, I think this month. And also, as mentioned, I think we start to do our C&I investment on the solar rooftop corporate PPA as well our last 2 years. So I think the trend in Thailand, basically, apart from the pipeline, that the ERC, energy regulation of the commission, and now recently for the utility scale, I mean, the C&I going to be a lot of big improvement and a big, huge pipeline opportunity in Thailand, given the NDC of the Thai government has been pushed to the carbon neutral in 2050, and net zero in 2065. So all the hard sector, industrial, hospitality, and all in that they release the carbon, gonna have the big push from the eco supply chain, which we will discuss later on the IREX and things that we can generate from this renewable energy, right, to be the mechanism on this. So I think C&I going to be the huge on the Southeast Asia towards the net zero. Yeah.
Okay, so in general, you see here all three investors who very prefer CAPEX model. So if you have factory and you want to save money and you want to go green, then at least you have three options to select here. They will be compete to that to serve you. So apart from them, then we are INPOS. We are a Vietnamese company. We are we very little bit different compared to three big guys. We are the developer and EPC company with more than 100 megawatt peak in track record. So actually, these are our customers. So that is a very great opportunity for us then to have discussed today. So because I come from rooftop solar C&I, so that's all I know. So for solar farm, for wind solar, it's not our interesting yet. So so today we will talk a little bit more about rooftop solar for C&I. So I'm sorry for TotalEnergie that you have very big image, but today mostly for rooftop solar. Okay, so next question is for BESS, for storage. So what we are seeing now in the world and Southeast Asia also, the storage is the unstoppable. So it is the trending that will be applied very soon. So only the matter of the cost now. So what I see in Vietnam, let's say, it is not very really yet because of the CAPEX is still a little bit high. But in Thailand, what I see is the electricity price is very high compared to other countries in Southeast Asia. So it should be a good market for storage. So the next question is for all three of you. So if you have any point and then you want to share, just feel free to jump in. So for storage application in Thailand for C&I solar, so what is your fueling. What is your plan for storage in Thailand? So we start with Rasad first.
Thank you for the question. I think the battery is going to be the, the key technology driver for net zero as well. We have started to have some queries from the client who not prefer any discount on the tariff that we offer the corporate PPA, but instead to install their battery, the battery for them in order to, to achieve the net zero. So we install the solar in their roof already, and that definitely going to minimize the scope 2 of carbon emission, but that's not enough. So they're looking forward to, because the factory itself needs to operate, not only daylight, right? So they operate, some of the factory 24 hours 7. So 24 hours, 7 days. This means that they use all the electricity, not only solar. Solar can generate only in daytime, right? So we require the battery, and we do see the trend starting from query from them that no discount, but instead give them carbon credit, give them IREX, and they're going to claim that to use the clean energy. So that's a clear trend, but definitely the key factor is that the capex of the battery itself, which I think we all would like to see the trend similar to the PV panels as previous 5 to 10 years of the cost reduction based on the economic of scales and the penetration into the market, the maturity of the market, the warranty maturity for the O&M operation maintenance, and the key, the warranty to be clarified, bankability. That's the key, I think, three things that we are looking forward for the supplier and also the market to be shifted to boost up the penetration into the factory or industrial sector. Apart from the industrial, I think in terms of the hospitality and things, they can all adapt the battery into the the emergency case. Like that hospitality, they have the gen, currently have the gen set, but I think definitely for the technology driving of the battery recently, I think we can replace it with the battery as well. So a lot of opportunity here, I think that we can discuss.
Yes, any Stefan or
yes.
Khomson?
Maybe I'm not sharing the enthusiasm of Khun Rasa on the deployment of the battery in Thailand. Definitely storage battery is a new kid on the block. It will come in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Southeast Asia, in other regions of the world. So I agree with Khun Basa that the limitation of battery deployment is the cost of the battery. It still remains very, very expensive. I checked, and in the past 5 years, today's battery is the same price as 5 years ago. So we can somehow consider taking into account some inflation. It has not decreased or whatever, maybe even worse. And what, to my personal opinion, humble opinion, what's limiting the penetration of the storage in Thailand is there is no real price differences between on-peak and off-peak tariff. So you can imagine you can charge your battery at night during the off-peak tariff, and you use it still at night from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. when the solar doesn't produce, and you discharge it. So that helps indeed to reduce your CO2 consumption, but because of the price differences between on-peak and off-peak in Thailand, which is not so big, it's difficult to make the economic feasibility of a battery. And big MNCs, of course, they will go for batteries, but they are aiming more for CSR, ticking some boxes, which is good, but there is no savings or very limited savings in terms of electricity. Let's talk ballpark 5%. Best case scenario, going for battery in Thailand. But it will come nonetheless. When, I do not know. I think battery is more suitable for Vietnam, even though you seem to doubt about it, because in Vietnam you have at night a peak tariff from I think 4 to 7 for 3 hours, where the tariff is really crazy. So the battery would make sense economically as well. So that's my point. And of course, Indonesia, a lot of opportunities for storage in Indonesia, more on the islands, some kind of a microgrid system to replace the fuel generator.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. I just want to ask the follow question. From my point of view, Thailand electricity price is very high. Let's say compared to Vietnam, I think 50% higher. So from my point of view, it should be a feasibility for commercial, for storage. I believe for Vietnam, because our price is very low. So it's not commercial, even our difference between the on-peak and off-peak time is huge. But because the average price for electricity is very low. So from what our very roughly calculation, I think the storage is feasible in Thailand. But it's not correct, is that right?
Well, I just want to add up something here. Talking about the utility storage, with solar, let's say, I think we need to consider two different things. With this, it's a different cost. So, for example, if you want to, to charge the battery in the daytime, and you recharge in the night times, that is something feasible. By the way, in Thailand, because of most of the industrial factories, they stop in Sunday. And what they tend to do is that they charge in the daytime of Sunday and then recharge in the Monday. But in another working day, actually, there is no benefit of the battery storage. So at that things, I think the cost is not feasible. Just give you some lovely idea. Well, we can have like 4 cents. It's about 1.5 Thai baht add up for the cost per kilowatt hour for the charging in the daytime and recharge in the nighttime. But in the different case, in charging on the Sunday and recharge on the Monday, that will be about 6 to 7 US cents per kilowatt hour. With this, that is not work, it's not feasible. And frankly speaking, on that one, we also, with the assumption that the batteries will be, run for another 10 years as what the supplier guarantee. But somehow, the challenge of the factory is that in order to install the big batteries in the factory is not easy. Somehow, it's the limit of the area. And to manage on that once, if you don't have the suitable area to install, the battery will gone in maybe 5 years, so the cost will double. So that's why that is the challenge for the utility storage. But well, just to share our success in Cambodia, we installed a hybrid, 500 kilowatt hybrid with the diesel gen. With this, it helped a lot on the client because of the diesel gens, with this they used in it before, the price of diesel gen is quite fluctuate. But if they go with solar and with battery storage, they can save some cost, but actually the big benefit of them is that the cost is stable. They can sign the PPA with us with the fixed cost for another 20 years. With this, they cannot do with the diesel gen. So that is another benefit. Yeah.
Okay, so roughly conclusion is the economically is not very interesting yet for storage. So the storage and solar can be competed with diesel for sure. But for the electricity price now in Vietnam and Thailand is still not very competitive, right? Okay, then in the setting, I think storage should be available here with the very high tariff from the government, but it's not it's quite sad. But we all see the trending of the reduction for the price for the investment in batteries. So what we expected is, as the global the battery market is within 5 years, the price should be reduced like 30% minimum. So I think with 30%, then it can be application in big scale, right? Okay, so nothing we can do. We expected into the manufacturing, we expected into the response of the market, but on Forbes, and I think most of the people here is on the pioneer for renewable energy. So we win step by step to make it come true. Okay. Okay, so then the next question is, this is very interesting question. So what we see in our experience, the grid capacity is a very, play the key point in the renewable energy development. So what we are suffering from Vietnam now is we have a lot of renewable energy in very short time. Let's say in Vietnam we have nothing from solar. I talk on solar only. We have almost nothing from 2090, nothing, zero, almost zero. Then we have up to now, after 1 to 3 years, we have more than 20 gigawatt solar in 3 years. So it is accountable for almost 30% of the total capacity of the whole network. So that makes the grid is under a very heavy condition that they have to be consumed a lot of unstable power from solar. So because and now most of the investors, they are a little bit suffering because of the network is weak, then we have the curtailment. Not only for big solar farm, but also for rooftop solar, which is very unusual. So the next question is, how do you are feeling and how is your idea about the grid capacity in Thailand? How the grid can be ensure the development of renewable energy? So we start with Khomson, yes, first.
Okay, thank you. Well, the grid stability in Thailand, actually, right now, I can say that is good. Yeah, we don't have the problem on that one. But let's say because of the grid right now, with the current regulations, we cannot export the power back to the grid. that is the problem. So, by the way, well, we have the very few, for example, the shortage of the grid. That is very few, and I think in Thailand, yeah, we don't have that problem on the C&I. But okay, on those utility is another different story because of the grid. Also the problem because of somewhere we need to install solar, but there is no grid to support on that one. Yeah.
Stephen, you want?
Not a grid expert, I would say. I'll share Kun Bum's view that I think the grid in Thailand is decent and very, very decent, so that is not a showstopper for solar. Maybe to add up to what you say in Vietnam, that's true that Vietnam experienced a very quick, I don't know if quick is the right word, development in solar, in the 𝑷𝒂𝒏𝒆𝒂𝒕𝒔 plan, and in Thailand it's more cautious. I would say the approach is more cautious, more poised, but eventually it's going there. So maybe just to share slightly off topic, what are the limitations for the solar in Thailand? So in the rooftop, that's definitely the fact that we cannot inject the excess of solar into the grid. So that's definitely limit the size of the PV system on the roof. So that's why when you see a lot of picture of solar on the roof, you may ask why is the roof not completely covered? So maybe two reasons. First one is that the roof is not robust enough to stand the PV solar. And the second is that you cannot inject into the grid. So you have to reduce voluntarily the size of the solar to make sure there is not too much excess. Otherwise, for investors like us, it's a wasted investment, if I can say so. So one thing which can unlock this would be the net metering, where we could inject the excess of solar into the grid with a ratio 80-20. For instance, I think in Vietnam you have this ratio 80-20, so 80% needs to be self-consumed and 20% can be injected into the grid with, let's say, a feed-in tariff or something. There is a pilot program right now in Thailand, but the feed-in tariff is far from being generous, let's put it this way. And to apply to be eligible to feed-in tariff basically defeats the purpose of doing it. So we are not doing it. And another thing which is cooking and that may impact more the stability of the grid, that in the sandbox, that the DPPA or delocalized PPA or corporate PPA available in Vietnam, available in other countries in Europe and South America, where basically you build a 50 megawatt solar plant somewhere and you can beneficiate from the green electricity as a company's manufacturing plant, even if you are located 2,000 kilometers from this power plant. So there is a program in the sandbox, and this would be really a game changer for Thailand, as it was a game changer for Vietnam. But as I say, Thailand is very cautious, not to say slow. So let's see in a few years where we are with DPPA.
Okay, but for the record, in Vietnam, we don't have net metering yet, and we don't have 70-30 or 80-20 yet. We still cannot inject the power into the grid, similar to Thailand. So we still the same game. Okay, so anything you want to add up?
Yeah, I think the key one to answer your question that I think of is the regularly update the PDP, Power Development Plan from the government. Regularly means to update, depend on demands and supply, right? Depends on the activities, manufacturing activities. COVID going to be different because on the volatile, environment recently. In Thailand, I think ERC, as I mentioned, they just announced the new PDP to have the 5 gigawatt of renewable energy to SCOD, schedule COD in 2014, 2030. And that's going to include wind, solar battery, solar, and biogas. Biogas not popular because of the tariff, feed-in tariff is not very high, as far as I know, but wind and solar battery going to be a lot into the industry, into the grid. I think the Vietnam, some problem may be due to the mechanism of the PDP feed-in tariff itself, because they announced similar feed-in tariff across the country. So the developers of solar, for example, they're going to focus into the area of the high irradiance. So they're going to the power plants going to stick in the one province, 2 province, and the grid capacity not going to be definitely adequate for supporting a lot of the electricity supply into the grid. So I think one of these mechanisms to drive the decentralized and as well as to regularly update going to be one of the key things to explore. In Thailand, I think we have a lot of backup, so that's good. But renewable energy mix going to be a key part in the future for driving the country net zero. So I think once decommissioning the coal plant, for example, we need to, the regulatory and the plan, power development need to be filled up according to the demand supply.
Okay, thank you very much. Then the next question will be the most exciting question for me, as this will be a lot of idea, I believe. So how do you think about the regulation can be boost the renewable energy and rooftop solar? So let me share my point of view first in Vietnam. So I expect the government and the regulation to do nothing. So because the more they involve, the more complicated and the more unreasonable. The point is, from my point of view, the best mechanism is the market. So let the hand of market decide 90%. So I think the role of government and the role of authority should be increase the awareness of the renewable energy. But don't do too much, then let we do the work. So for example, let's say in 2022 in Vietnam, we have no policy, we have no agenda, we have no support, nothing. Because our feed-in tariff finished in 2020, so we have nothing from government, but only in 2022, we are finished for rooftop solar C&I, 600 megawatt peak. So let's say the best scenario for me is they just sit tight, do nothing, then let the investor do the work. That's for me. So you can have anything you want. Let's say with Stephen first, because the GreenYellow is very active in Vietnam also.
Yes, sorry, I anticipate a little bit the question about regulation. So I don't share your optimism. I guess we need some policy support to help the solar and the renewable energy to grow, for sure. Of course, there is definitely an urge to go solar, renewable energy, electrical vehicle and everything. Everybody is feeling it. Sustainability is everywhere. But with a help from policymakers, that will definitely help. Sorry for the repetition. So what I mentioned already, net metering would be a push for the rooftop solar to help to inject the excess solar into the grid. The DPPA or corporate PPA, because many companies so far, they have a lot of roofs, like the dry logistics, but they are not so-called quote-unquote eligible to solar because there is no electricity consumption under the roof for dry logistics. So with a DPPA, that could change definitely that could help as well. Schools and everything, or halls in the city where there is no roof space. So that could definitely help so that more and more companies can access to green energy. And one of the third items maybe is that the red tape process in Thailand is very challenging with all government entities wanting to have a word to say in licensing, whether it's DD, ERC, of course PEA, MEA, and some other licenses. So the time for construction and for connection to the grid is largely impacted because of this heavy red paperwork. So eventually, I don't know if it's possible that those 2 or 3 agencies come to an agreement and there is one license only to be able to connect solar to the grid. That will definitely streamline the process as well.
Okay, so I think the view of Stephen is very optimist actually. So we all know that to get the government and authority to get action, then it takes a long time. So but yes, if they can do something, it will be better. But we have to wait very long time. So from my point, we should not expect too much. Khomson.
Well, by the way, I think there is a pro and con on the regulation and policy maker, but well, in the way I think to promote, for me, so I agree with Stefan that well, actually for especially in Thailand right now, actually the market grow a lot, and most of the customer that they can consume the power during the daytime, I think right now is very less. So the next would be that the net metering need to be in place. If not, then it's not, how to say, is not economically proof. If we running just only on the Monday to Friday and Saturday and Sunday we stop, right? It's not feasible. And and as Stefan said, the wheeling chart, I mean, the off-site PPA need to be promoted because of a lot of the clients, they consume, for example, 20 megawatt or 30 megawatt, but they have the loop just only 2 megawatt. So they need to use more and more the renewable energy, but okay, there is no loop available space, so that also need. Add up on that one, I think the financial institute and funding need to also play the big role because of somehow, right now, I can say that if you are aware on the interest rate, right now it's go up very fast. So, well, by the way, on this investment in the renewable energy, we need to invest and for another 10, 15, 20 years. And okay, once the cost of interest is going up, then it's killed the project. So, most of the time, for example, in the C&Is, it's very difficult to get the how to say, the project financing. Yeah. Most of the time, the developer or even the CAPEX model, the customer, they need to do the corporate loan. But it somehow, I think, is not supportive enough. So if more flexible on this one and more supportive on the financial institute, I think the market will be grow more faster than this. Yeah.
Yes, do you want to have any?
Okay, I think guys cover everything. I think we have seen the bottleneck in permits. So we're looking forward to have the regulatory to unlock this kind of multi departments to issue the permits to be the flow to be unlocked as much as we can, because our clients, everyone would like to use the renewable energy as fast as they can, right? Enjoy every moment once they install solar and battery, or for example. That's the things. And the BOI, I think Board of Investment need to, on the utility scale and solar rooftop, I think battery itself, we start to have our inland manufacturing for battery for some of the investors in Thailand, but still to open the market for free free market. We still need to import into the Thailand market as well on some of the good supplier. And we're looking forward to have BOI to help us on that, to waive the import tax, or even, you know, the improvement of the energy efficiency, solar battery, or for example, waive the CIT, corporate income tax, to help us. And yeah, that I think that's gonna help.
Okay, I see a lot of expectation from government from three of you, and it is completely different from me, as maybe I live in the dictatorship too long to expect. So, but yes, we all agree if the government and authority can do something to simplify the documentation and process, then it will be help a lot. But most of the work, from my point of view, it depends on our hand, as the investor and the developer and the EPC and the off-taker, because let's say for the corporate PPA, the contract between the investor and the off-taker. So basically, the government is no related. We just need to their connection to inject some % of the surplus power into the grid or not, depend on their support. But generally in the world, you can see, let's say from USA, the government and authority in USA, they not put their hand in any, let's say, company transaction of taker and investor. So we see that USA is one of the biggest markets for development of solar. So from my point of view, yes, the government is play the key point, but we can do a lot with only investor, developer, and off-taker. Okay, so I think we have the side of 5 minutes left already, so it will be next for the Q&A. So if you have any question, then please feel free to ask our panelists, please. Any?
Maybe you all know about this already, but I don't. So I'm a bit curious why Vietnam all of a sudden there are so many investors install so much capacity in such a short time. How that happened?
Okay.
And it seemed to be a mistake. But I'm not sure whether it's a mistake or not, but why?
Okay, I think this question for me actually. Okay, so in Vietnam we have the reason we call the booming for solar and wind is we have the feed-in tariff. We have the feed-in tariff policy for solar that's expire on 2020. The feed-in tariff price is very high. It is for rooftop solar, it is 8.38 cents. It's very high. Then we have the wind feed-in tariff is about 9.3 cents. So because of the feed-in tariff price is very attractive for the investor. So we have the IRR, let's say 20%. So that's why everybody rushes for the project. So that's why it is within only 1 year. 1 year for solar. From 2019 to 2020, we have 20 gigawatt of solar. It's just the feed-in tariff. So it's right or wrong, we don't know yet. But from my point of view, the more renewable energy, the more good. So the problem is you have too much renewable energy in short time. It make the problem of the grid. But the grid can improve. So now even we say about some curtailment, but the grid 90% is working very well. So that is for Vietnam. So any other question for our guest here, please?
Yes, please, over here. To the gentleman over here.
Hello, thank you. It might be a bit outside of this discussion, but I hear a lot about investing. I'd like to know the policy of each of you, or if you have any, about the recycling of all this equipment you install on roofs and so on. Providing green is one thing, but the waste generated by all these greens, I don't know if you have anything in place, or I'm struggling myself to find recycling facilities in Thailand for damaged solar panels, so I'd like to hear from you.
So I think this question will be for Khomson first, because
Okay, well, that is one of the hidden agendas on, I believe, in the developer, because of nobody know, because of right now there is no clear, the policy for the recycle, especially in Thailand. But in some of the developed countries, I think there is some of the thing in place. But well, for sure, we put some costs into our business models at the end of the PPA. For example, we signed 20 years PPA, and or 25 or even 15. Well, we need to make some assumptions on that one, how we can, take the waste, let's say, consider the waste of the system into, to manage in the proper way, let's say. So, well, some of the I don't sure, but okay, for I think it's different from each developer, but for us, yeah, we put some cost on that one. Yeah.
okay, then I think this one I have some little bit more information for specifically for your question. So let's say I believe in Vietnam and in Thailand and most of the world, we don't have a policy yet for the recycling. And the point is, now the solar is just starting, let's say, the booming year, recent year. So to make the business of recycling profitable, it's not yet ready. The reason is the recycling, the number of solar panels for recycling is not big enough. And we don't have the support policy. So when, let's say, the 15 years later, when this way of investment for solar, it comes to the end of the lifetime, it's a huge amount of the solar panel need to be recycling. At that time, maybe the business model for recycling will be profitable because we have the size, we have the technology. But now, because very little solar panel need to be cycling, so it's not big enough to make a business profitable. That's why we see not many companies who starting for the recycling business. From my point of view, I know two companies in doing only the recycling for solar. One in Canada, and a lot of companies in China. They trying to promote at that time for recycling, but it's very small scale, then not profitable.
I could add on a little bit of the points. So we start to do some repowering of the power plants, and definitely going to come out to secondary PV module market. So before recycle, I think we're going to focus on reuse first. That's the first point. And to the concept of reuse, definitely it needs to be safe. It needs to be grading. And that's the key part that we are looking forward to. And by grading, we need a lot of inspection tests on the PV panel, insulation tests to make sure that it's safe, no leakage, water leak test, illumination test, something like that, IV test, whatever. There's going to be a different set of tests that necessary to make sure that we are grading the secondary PV module to be grade A, grade B, C, or D. And that's definitely going to be some of the government-related party to working on that before recycle as well. And apart from the reuse, recycle going to be the second one. Yeah.
That's really very interesting. I'm sorry, but because we are a bit, with the interest of time, we believe that we have to conclude our session. But please keep your question. Maybe during the break, we can also converse and, do a little bit of networking to get to know people as well. So thank you very much for our panel discussion. Let's give a big round of applause for all the panelists, and please remain on the stage with us, because on behalf of Energy Box, we would like to present you a token of appreciation. Thank you very much for travel from far and be with us today. So may I have everyone to stand up first, and then we would like to present the gift to you one by one. Ladies. Go. All right, from Ryzen, our strategic partner would like to present little gift for all of you. มาเลยค่ะ ส่งต่อมาเลยค่ะ I think everybody can have all at once. มาพร้อมกันได้เลยจ้ะ And of course, for today, we truly have, for the first session of today, we have a really productive and fruitful panel discussion. I believe that all of your question has been answered. And one more. Okay. And we will resume. We will take a quick break now. We have a coffee and refreshment outside. So please enjoy yourself to your heart content. And then don't forget to get to know the people in the same industry. You never know that today will come friends, business partner later on as well. And our next session shall resume at 11:20. 11:20 with SJT technology under the topic of an ultra low carbon and ultra high efficiency from Ryzen. So we'll see each other again at 11:20. 11:20. The bathroom is outside of the hallway to the right, and if you feel free, you can bring your refreshment and coffee inside to enjoy. So thank you very much, our panelists, and I will see you all at 11:20. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sorry for the delay.